everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and tomorrow's Apple event is almost here. I'm super excited about it, and I'm hoping there's going to be a few surprises. And so I want to talk about everything that's been confirmed, some things that may or may not be there, and also when to expect iOS 14 GM and the public release of iOS 14, watchOS 7, tvOS 14, iPadOS 14, as well as macOS Big Sur. Now, before I go over what to expect at tomorrow's event, it appears Apple ordered a bunch of Samsung foldable displays, so they're working on some sort of foldable or flexible prototype. Now, Apple's always working on new developments for future releases, so this doesn't mean we will see a foldable iPhone or we even want a foldable iPhone, but it does mean they're trying out some new things. So I look forward to see what they actually have if they come up with a good idea. They're never the first to come out with this technology. They're usually the ones to do it, well, arguably the best. So I would love to see what they have in the future. Now, as far as tomorrow's event, well, it looks like Apple registered domains for AppleOne, meaning website addresses that are talking about maybe bundled services. So maybe if you already subscribe to, say, Apple Music, maybe iCloud, along with Apple TV Plus or News Plus or any of those services, Apple Arcade, it would be great to see them bundled into one bundle so that you don't have to purchase everything every single month. Maybe we'll save some money, maybe we won't, but at least one bill would be nice to see. So it looks like we can at least expect that as far as their services are concerned. Now, at this point, pretty much everyone expects a new Apple Watch. In fact, we expect a Series 6 Apple Watch to come out along with watchOS 7. So we'll have watchOS 7, which is running on this Series 4 Apple Watch. Let's go over to this one. There we go. And you can see this is one of the new watch faces from watchOS 7. So of course, once that comes out, I'll cover it. And you can expect maybe the GM version to come out after that event. Now, also in the next Apple Watch, there's no known external design changes really. There's been some hints that maybe the dial would go away or the digital crown, or maybe there's some other changes, but that seemingly is in future updates. So maybe no external changes, but there will be a different internal chipset that will give us faster speed, better battery life in theory, and also it may have a slightly larger battery inside at about 303.8 milliamp hours. Previously, it's 296, so maybe a little bit more. Now, also it would have a new O2 sensor on the back, which would measure your blood oxygen level or O2 saturation. And so I would love to see that. And then there's also rumors that maybe we'll see a new stress measurement app. So maybe you're stressed, it lets you know based off of your heart rate, your O2 saturation levels, and maybe we'll see that along with some new finishes. This is the stainless steel. Maybe we'll have titanium again, ceramic, or something else. I'd love to see what they have. Now, we may see a less expensive Apple Watch as well to replace the Series 3 Apple Watch. But other than that, we're fairly confident that we're going to see a new iPad Air that looks very similar to this iPad Pro from 2020, with a squared off edge, a different design, maybe stereo speakers or quad speakers, as well as an A14 CPU, although some have said it will be an A13 CPU, and then also maybe a slightly different size, and then maybe a 120 hertz display like the iPad Pro. I would love to see that. And then of course more RAM, maybe a better camera on the back, and better internals. So it's hard to say exactly what we'll have, but A14 CPUs seem likely, as well as maybe a new Magic Keyboard to go along with the smaller display. So hopefully we'll see that, and that would be really great to see a new iPad Air. Now, of course, many of you want to know when to expect iOS 14. And so iOS 14 GM should be expected right after the event tomorrow. If Apple continues to do what they've done in the past, that means that after the event airs about 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern time, after 3 p.m., usually around 4, the GM will come out to the developers. Sometimes it comes out to public beta testers, other times it does not. But that is the final version that will be released to the public, usually about a week after that. So let's go to our calendar. And so after tomorrow's event, expect the GM, and then developers will have a little bit of time to get everything finalized. And then I would expect a final release the week of the 20th. I've said this a few different times. We should also get a final date at this particular event. So hopefully we'll have a final date. It could be the 29th, but hopefully it's the week of the 20th, and we'll know for sure after the event. And of course, I'll keep you updated as soon as I know. So it would be great if they release that, and then we have a final version. And then many are saying iOS 14.1 will release when the iPhone 12 comes out. So we need iOS 14 to support watchOS 7 that will come out, so we would get that, and then iOS 14.1 as soon as the iPhone 12 ships. So let's talk a little bit about the iPhones. So iPhone 12, will we see iPhone 12 at tomorrow's event? Well, that really depends on who you ask. In fact, many prominent leakers say don't expect them at all. However, just a few days ago, Apple started deleting their iPhone 11 videos off of YouTube, or at least making them private. So we're not seeing those anymore. So if they're deleting iPhone 11 videos, maybe we'll see an iPhone 12. Now, if we do see an iPhone 12 at the event tomorrow, we can expect 4 different sizes, anywhere from 5.4 inches up to 6.7 inches. The interesting thing is, not only would we have a really small iPhone, which we don't know if this would be a Pro or not, some are saying that it is, we would also see an iPhone 12 to replace the iPhone 11. So we would have sort of a lower priced iPhone 12, 6.1 inch, and then an iPhone 12 Pro, 6.1 inch. They'll all have OLED supposedly. Now, I wish they would have some with LCD due to PWM and that bothering some people's eyes, but we'll have to wait and see what they actually do. Now, if we do see an iPhone 12 and 12 Pro, we can expect A14 CPUs in them, maybe a little bit more RAM, but definitely faster speed, a new neural engine with much better computing, as well as 5G in the higher end. So in the highest end, iPhone 12 Pro Max, 5G. Whether that's millimeter wave or just sub-6 is hard to say. There's some conflicting information on that, but it's really hard to say. Also, we should expect better cameras, and they'll be similar to this arrangement, but instead have a LiDAR at the bottom on the largest size iPhone. So we've kind of seen what this looks like, of course, more squared off like we've seen, just like the iPhone 5 and 5S. So we would have a more squared off look, which would be something I welcome, as well as still a Lightning port. Now, I would love to see this replaced with USB-C, but it looks like we're going to have Lightning. Now, the one thing that most people would love to see replaced, or at least a lot of people, is the notch. I still expect to have the notch. Personally, it doesn't bother me, but if they could get rid of it, that would be even better. But also, many people are saying they wouldn't buy one unless it has a 120 hertz display. And most sources are saying there will not be a 120 hertz ProMotion display like we have on this iPad Pro, which makes it super smooth. So to me, that's not a deal breaker. And I think to the normal consumer, they're probably not going to care. But those that are into technology, that follow technology, are really going to see that as a very big negative. So it's hard to say what they're actually going to do. Of course, we'll have to wait and see. Now, the interesting news is that the A14 is so efficient that even if the battery is the same or a little bit smaller, you can expect better battery life. There's some news that came out that said they were getting over 2 hours better battery life on the same device. So it's hard to say if we'll actually see those kind of improvements. That would mean great leaps in efficiency with the A14 CPU. So I really welcome that, of course, if we do see that. Now, also, there's supposedly a magnetic ring in the back of the iPhone 12 Pros, and that would allow for maybe alignment to a new wireless charger, maybe additional accessories or something along those lines. We're not really sure what that's about yet, but it will be really interesting to see. Apparently, it has a magnetic ring with a coil inside of that for charging or NFC, and so it'll be interesting to see what Apple has to offer there. Maybe a new AirPower to finally come out with their own wireless charger that charges not only the watch, but also iPhones as well. That would be great, along with AirPods. And some are saying expect some new AirPods. Now, this is really up in the air whether or not we'll see AirPods or not. I would welcome them. I just want that new spatial audio feature personally. Now, whether or not we see a new Apple TV is hard to say. This is kind of long past due. It could use a spec bump at this point, maybe a little bit more RAM. So I would really hope to see that. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. There hasn't really been a whole lot of rumors about that. But the one thing I would love to see is an Apple Silicon Mac. Now, Apple has already talked about releasing a new MacBook by the end of the year, or a new MacBook Pro, one of those by the end of the year, that will have Apple Silicon in it. They've said they'll release this along with releasing all of their devices with Apple Silicon in them in a couple years. And that's what they did when they switched to Intel. So I would expect that hopefully within, well, the next couple months. They did say they would release one by the end of the year, so we should see that. And then Also, we may see HomePod 2 or HomePod Mini along with AirTags. Now, AirTags have been a long time coming also. They've been in the code for a while, a way to locate different maybe things you place the tags in using Find My on your phone. So all of these things could be really interesting. So I hope there's maybe a one more thing with an Apple Silicon MacBook. That's really what I would love to see. I'd like to see what Apple has to offer with that, what kind of horsepower it has or what it can do. And that's something I look forward to. Also an iPhone 12, but if it's not there, there's not much I can do about that, but hopefully we'll see it soon. If not at this event, maybe in one in October. Now, along with iOS 14 GM, we can also expect iPadOS 14 GM to release tomorrow as well. Now, also, we get GMs of watchOS 7, so expect watchOS 7 GM along with tvOS 14 GM. Now, if you're looking for macOS Big Sur GM, well, usually that's a few weeks away. Apple normally releases iOS 14 to the public, and then a couple weeks later, they'll release macOS. So that's what they've done in the past. Expect the same sort of thing this time around. And since we're a beta behind with macOS, it seems to be basically the same thing. So all of those updates should be coming out, along with maybe an update to the HomePod as well. That's it for what to expect at tomorrow's event. I'm hoping there's a couple surprises. Maybe there's not, but all of these leaks kind of ruin some of that. So I really hope we see something we weren't expecting. Also, I'm really hoping iOS 14 GM is out like we would expect. And of course, if it is, I'll do a video and I'll be the first to let you know if that's out. Just follow me on the different social media places that I post that, like Twitter and other places as well. Now, if you'd like to get your hands on this wallpaper, I'll link it in the description like I normally do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.